Good morning, at least where I am, for everyone. If you're some of our overseas fans, welcome. And I would like to quickly thank my co-host for showing up today, Jag. Usually he does the arc, but hey, glad he's here. And oh, look at this. I wish you had things, but I would like to welcome our guest, Wil Geary. And hello. I am hoping that I just got a notice that something went funny on our Facebook, so I'm trying to redo it. So
meanwhile,
Jag, can you take over for a minute so I can?
No problem. So Wil, thank you for joining us. Real quick for the people watching, where are you right now? And did you bring any breakfast for anybody?
So I'm currently in Chicago. Unfortunately, I don't have breakfast. Haven't had breakfast myself yet, so I'm going to be doing that probably once we're wrapped up here. But yeah, how are you guys doing?
Doing good. How's the weather up there? I think in Chicago, is it cold, hot?
It's actually, we've been pretty lucky. It's been pretty warm this winter. February was surprisingly warm, warmer than it typically is. It's a beautiful day today. It's sunny, it's bright. I think it's hitting about 45 right now, and it's
okay. That's actually kind of warm for you guys up there.
Yeah, definitely not used to it. Usually this time of year, it's like in the 30s. So
yeah,
while it lasts.
Well, so why don't you tell everybody who's watching, what you're about, what you like to do, and what brought you here, and not necessarily here, but what brought you to becoming a singer and dancer and so forth. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I grew up, actually in the house where I am right now. And I grew up actually from a whole family of performers. My mom, both my sisters, my dad, everyone is a dancer. My mom sings as well. So I was always just in a very creative household. Got put into some dance classes and gymnastics classes with my twin sister. And I just fell in love with it right from the beginning. And I knew that performance was just something that I had to do, with my life. And it's amazing that I'm still doing it now, at 30 years old. And, I just feel like I can't see myself pursuing anything else other than what I love, which is to be on stage, dancing, singing, acting, doing all of it. And actually, my music. So I grew up doing musical theater with my mom and my sisters. And that's where I started to get into singing. And I love to sing, but I love to act as well and be a character and just basically just be expressive in whatever way that is. And I just knew that was for me. And I knew that music was just an extension of that I wanted to continue doing. And that's where I kind of started with recording my own music, which I recorded my first song back in 2022, I Smell Success. And and I just put out a new song, Dreaming Loud. And I have more songs coming out later this year that I'm really excited about. But I just knew right from when I was, 3 years old that I knew I wanted to sing, act, and dance and just do that with the rest of my life.
So you're being a little modest because if my mistake in your bio also says you did some work in Cirque du Soleil.
Yes.
And so why don't you talk to us a little bit about how you got involved with that?
So honestly, it started with just a lot of training, just like with anything, when you want to pursue it. I started getting serious with my dance training when I was in high school. So when I was about 14 years old, I started the dance. I was a part of a dance program. It was called Orchesis. And we basically just performed throughout the whole entire year. We probably did 30 shows a year, just at different venues, different high schools, performances. We would even travel. We went to Miami one year. And I even had an opportunity to choreograph a piece when I was 15. And it was selected for the Illinois High School Dance Festival, which is a pretty big deal. here in the state of Illinois, where there's about 50 dances, student choreographed dances that are reviewed by a judging panel. And then they only choose about 10 to 15 to be in this showcase to just feature all these choreographers. And I was selected to be a part of that. And that's where I kind of was like, oh, I think dance and, choreography and being creative was something I really think I had a really good talent. I was really talented at, and that's what I wanted to continue to pursue. So after high school, I got even more involved with my dance training, got really into ballet, kept up with my gymnastics, started to sing. So I was doing voice lessons like multiple times a week, singing every day. And then it was just a bunch of auditions. At this point, right before I booked Cirque du Soleil, I was living in New York City. And it was very stressful because I swear I probably did over 100 auditions. And I was auditioning for national tours and Broadway, and nothing was really happening for me. Of course, when you move to a new city and you're like a new face, it does sometimes take time for people to get to know you and give you a chance. But things just weren't happening, which was a bummer. And I felt pretty stuck, but I was like, you know what? I can't give up. Like, this is my dream. I want to perform and do great things with my life. So just with persistence and believing in myself, I had an opportunity to audition for Cirque du Soleil. The job seemed absolutely perfect for what I do. They needed a technical dancer that could also tumble and do gymnastics, and also had experience with acting and being on stage. And I did know a couple people within Cirque du Soleil. So they were, and I've auditioned for them before. So they were at least familiar with my work, which helped. But yeah, I submitted a tape. I rented out a studio in New York City. I think it was like $35, $40 studio that I rented for an hour. And at this point, I was so broke. And I was like, okay, I only have an hour. I have to choreograph this like 8 counts of 8 choreography and make it perfect, and then send it in. So I just rushed and I tried to make that happen. And I really, I stressed out about it because I'm a perfectionist. But yeah, I finally got my last audition cut, probably within the last 5 minutes of me having that studio space. And at first I was kind of like, I don't know if I love what I did, but it's what I have. So then I just submitted it. And then I got that call like 2 days later that they wanted to work with me. And this was for a show called Volta. So this was a lead role in that show. And it was just a dream, honestly, one of the best experiences of my life. I was filling in. I was a standby for that lead role, just so in case anything happened to the dancer that was doing the part every day. Like, let's say he had an injury, then I would step in and cover that role. I was able to perform the role actually about 30, 40 times when I was a part of that production. And it was just the best experience of my life. It honestly was. I'm just so grateful every single day that I just had that experience. And I know that's something I don't take for granted, because I know how impossibly hard it is for something like that to happen, especially for a dancer. So that's how I got started with my first Cirque du Soleil show. And then I worked on another show. This was about a year later. I was working with a ballet company. It's more like commercial ballet with contemporary and jazz elements. The company, formerly Bad Boys of Ballet, but now the company is Sweetbird Productions. So I was on a tour in Europe, and at this point I was in Germany, and I had the director of a show called Paramour, which was on Broadway. It was previously on Broadway, but they were doing a run of the show in Hamburg, Germany. And that's where I was currently performing. And I just got a message from the Broadway director, choreographer, Sergio Trujillo, who is he's a very, very well known within the Broadway community. And he just reached out to me just like through Instagram. It's like, hey, I see that you're in town, and I would love for you to audition for my show. And I was just like,
Wow.
this is crazy. Like just insane because I've been following his work too. I mean, he's just extremely talented, and I mean, he choreographed Guys and Dolls on Broadway amongst so many other productions. And it was just surreal that he sent me a message and wanted me to be a part of his show. So I auditioned. Of course, I had to audition for the show, and then I got it like the next day. So then I lived in Germany for a year, performing in Paramour. Probably, I think I did like over 300 shows. It was a lot.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it was, it was a crazy experience. I was homesick. It was really tough. I was living my dream, but I was also really missing home. So that was difficult. And I was in a completely different country, and the language, people spoke English, but I found myself a lot of the time not really knowing what was going on because I didn't speak German. So it was a culture shock as well. But it was still an amazing experience. I had a lot of fun. I met some great, incredible, talented people. And I just, I felt like the luckiest guy in the world at that point. And it was just amazing. Unfortunately, the show closed right as soon as the pandemic hit.
Mm-hmm.
I think I had one or two more months left of the show before my contract was going to end. But then the pandemic hit. I think I was going to be done in like April or May. And then the pandemic hit in March. And I was like, dang it, couldn't even finish my contract. But, it affected everybody terribly. Yeah. But I was at least able to get a lot out of that production. And, but from the pandemic, that's been hard. Just trying to like kind of recover from that, things where there wasn't a lot going on for a couple of years.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
before I go on, we're seeing some comments in. I want to welcome people in the chat room and the people that are watching. We have one from ARC54, one of our good friends. She's got a question, actually a comment. Good morning. I must ask how much fun you had filming Dreaming Loud, and I love the lightsabers, which I was talking to you before in the green room. Are you a Star Wars fan? And if so, were you able to see 501 Rebel Legion in McDonald Thanksgiving Parade?
So this is a little embarrassing. I mean, thank you so much for your comment. And I had a blast filming Dreaming Loud. I actually have never watched Star Wars before. That's one of my fun facts. I have never seen a Star Wars movie. But I guess I did find my inspiration with those. It was kind of like a lightsaber. Yeah. So I found my inspiration through Star Wars, but haven't watched Star Wars before. So I'm not going to say I'm not a fan, but I can't really be a fan if I haven't really watched it. But you know what? I'll mark that for the rest of my Sunday today. I'll watch some Star Wars.
Well, you handled it pretty well. It looks like you knew what you were doing and everything, and like, oh, he watched this show. He watched the Star Wars.
Well, hey, when I was a kid, I dressed up for Halloween as Luke Skywalker. I did have my own lightsaber, so I was always playing around, pretending I was in that world. But yeah, definitely I got my inspiration from Star Wars. But no, I haven't watched it, which is crazy because I feel like everybody I know has watched Star Wars.
Yeah,
so I guess so. Rock or something. I don't know.
So I'm going to go with a little technical, and then I'll get Michael. I know it's his show, but hey, you asked me to be here, and I got so many questions myself.
I know. I was my mistake, right? Yeah.
So real quick, let's talk about Dreaming Loud since it was your most recent video, which I loved. Like again, we were talking backstage, and we were talking about how you destroyed a cake and everything.
Yeah.
You're the guy basically that dreams up all these kind of videos and stuff. So how do you go about that? How do you conceive how a video is going to play out? And you play a big role in all these videos. So I'd like to hear your thoughts on that.
So it comes from how the music makes me feel. I just, I wrote the lyrics too. So I already had a vision from kind of what I wanted the video to feel like. So then just from there, I kind of just took a look or a listen, I guess, to the lyrics and what, like, I kind of think about colors a lot of the time, and I think, okay, what is kind of this color palette that I'm going for? And I feel like from there you can kind of build and grow on that. And I knew I wanted it to have a hopeful feel, still be bright, but also a little bit, kind of down, sad, kind of like you're giving up, because the whole song is just about having a dream that is too loud and that it's just not happening, it's not working out. But yeah, from there, I just kind of take each verse and I think about, okay, what is this verse like talking about? What is it explaining? So some people are probably like, why the heck does he have a cake like in front of him, like for that first scene? And it's, at that point I was 29, and it was just, it's just another year around the sun, still kind of, okay, I kind of want to go back just a little bit. So the reason I mean, yes, I did have success as a performer, but I wrote this song during a point where this was 2 years after the pandemic. I lived in LA actually at this point. I've moved around a lot, but I was living in LA, auditioning for shows. I was even auditioning for things during the pandemic, and absolutely nothing came my way. I mean, I've auditioned for like 200 what, TV shows, musicals, films, music videos, commercials, and like nothing happened. And I just started, that's when I got really depressed and got my inspiration, I guess. Not even inspiration, I just felt so bad, and I needed to get it down on paper. So writing for me is more like poetry. And it's just a way for me to express how I'm feeling and just put that down on paper. So that's kind of just where I got my inspiration for the song in general. So I just don't want people to think, what do you mean? He worked for Cirque du Soleil and everything's great. Why is he talking about being unhappy and not achieving his dreams? But when things haven't worked out for like 3 years, you're kind of like, what the heck? So going back on kind of the creative vision, I think about colors. I think about the verses. I'm talking about being 29, again, still another year, nothing is happening. And that's kind of where I got the cake. I'm at like my own birthday party by myself, and I'm just trying to still like keep that happy, hopeful likeness within myself. But then I'm just kind of like, F it all. And then that's where I go, like I smash the cake. And then the piñata is an extension of just kind of how I'm feeling, but it's more like a mask in a way. Like it's just like happy. And like that's only one emotion, because people don't want to see you depressed. Like they expect you to just be happy and pretend everything's okay and wonderful. And especially on on Instagram, you're not going to be posting like you in a corner like crying or whatever. Like people just want to see the best version of yourself. So that's where I had the piñata, have it on a chain, kind of just dragging it on the ground, just very like, ugh, but it's still like happy, even though I feel like I'm like a prisoner I feel like I'm a prisoner basically. But then I have the baseball bat. And then again, I'm just kind of like, I'm so over it that I'm done putting on that happy face for everybody and just pretending things are perfect. I'm just going to live my life authentically, and it's okay to be upset. So that's where I'm just like, forget it. Forget what, society is telling you how you should act when things are tough. And I had a blast beating up that piñata and throwing it in the air and kicking it. As you saw, definitely destroyed it, at the end. So,
Well, it is interesting because a lot of us that look up at artists, whether it's you or anybody out there, we tend to think they live this, rose-colored life of, rose-colored glasses of life, that nothing bothers them. They're above all the problems of the world. It's us peasants down here that have all the issues. You guys are above and living a life of, just incredible luck and happiness. But we all tend to forget, and that video is a good reminder that even those people have their days, or their bad days as well. So, I mean, that was kind of the impression I got from your video before reading, the comments that you did before, that it was just basically you're putting on a persona for people, and then that's where the happy face came from, and then how you were really showing that sometimes that's not the case. You just want to be in the corner crying because of how things are going in your personal life. Michael, I'm going to let you kind of jump in here, and it is your show. So
Yeah.
uh,
I'm happy you did. I think I got Facebook back running again. It looks like
yay!
it's back on, so that's a good thing. But Arc 54 loves multiple art questions. She has another one.
Okay.
She said, "How much did you enjoy Cancun, and would you ever consider touring there?" Rest of the question: what are your dream countries to tour in?
Oh, I love this question. I loved Cancun. So I was there in January. Um,
This time
for
of year,
yeah, it
especially from
was.
Chicago.
It was. I couldn't have left at a more perfect time because it was like there was a cold front like kind of reaching this part of this region where it was like -20 degrees, and it was for like those 5 days I was in Cancun where I missed probably 75% of where it was extremely cold. So I go from like negative, probably at this point when I first left, it was -10. And then I go to 80 degrees and sunny, and it's perfect. And, again, it was for a bachelorette party. So it was it was for my friend that I danced with for the past like 12 years. So just like on the beach, had my margarita, living my best life. We just really stayed on the resort the whole time. So I do wish I probably could have explored, but I know that's not going to be my last time going to Cancun. But I also haven't really been to a resort quite that nice before where everything was just paid for. And they were just, the beach was like right on the resort too. And then I was just with like 10 amazing people that I got along with so well. And it really just was an incredible, incredible time. And, it's a beautiful city, at least, the resort that I was on. I would love to tour to Cancun and perform there and explore more of Cancun and, just see what else is out there for me. I'd love to see more of Mexico as well. Dream countries. Oof. Okay. So touring is like one of my favorite things. I mean, when I worked with Bad Boys of Ballet, Sweetbird Productions, we toured France, Germany, Switzerland. We went to Andorra, and we went to the Netherlands. Just amazing places. And I definitely would love to. I guess I would love to go back and tour Germany. I've never been to England. I'd love to go to London. That's probably one of the top on my bucket list. Love to go to London, or just England in general. I would love to go to France, Italy, Greece. Greece is a top choice because it's just so beautiful and so rich in culture and history. I'd also love to go to Japan, maybe see a bit of Tokyo, go to Australia. So many places. I love to travel. So honestly, the list is endless because I am just so I find the world so fascinating and exciting, and I like to try new things and experience different cultures and ways of life and just connect with people all around the world. So I really would love to visit pretty much every country that I can. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let me say, just people that are watching right now, Will's links of all of his social medias are down below. If that drives you crazy, you can go to http://ndbmedia.net/T U.html. And you can look at his little bio that we have on our webpage, and it has all of his links there. You just have to click them. So that makes it easier, unless you just want to do a search. I mean, you have your choice. There's several different ways you can do it. So let's go to, we've got a couple more questions. Arc 54. How are you feeling after your back injury last year? And because you kept up with the studying, are you almost done with your massage therapy license? And as a dancer, do you find that that knowledge extra helpful?
Someone's been doing the reconnaissance here, huh?
Yeah, someone's been
She loves reconnaissance.
really looking. Yeah, so I did have a herniated disc, so which brought me back. So I had to leave LA just because I wanted to recover. Didn't want to spend a bunch of money because most of my income was from dancing. So I just had to go home, recover, and I was like, okay, how can I use this time wisely? And I thought about it for a long time. I was like, what can I pursue that is a flexible enough career to still support me while I'm still performing and pursuing the music and the dancing? So I was like, okay, massage therapy. I read up on it, and just as a dancer myself, I've had so many massages, like hundreds probably in my lifetime, and I have always just given like my family just back and neck massages just because I love them. And I felt like I was actually pretty good at it. And they told me, it was like, you just know where to find the muscles and all that. So I was like, okay, let's pursue massage therapy. I feel like college is just so expensive, and I didn't have the time or the patience to pursue like, an associate's degree or a bachelor's, that's 2 to 4 years, and probably like leaving, probably school with like 20-30K in debt at minimum. So I was like, that's probably not going to do that, because I'm just trying to find something that can help me with security. So I found a massage school like 15 minutes away from my house. And it's been great. And it's actually been very informative. And it just, with my experience, I feel like I've already understood a lot of the massage therapy techniques and just kind of how to use your body weight in a way that's not going to injure you. Because a lot of the time as a massage therapist, they have injuries, in their wrists or in their back, especially. So I feel like just, with lifting, girls, or even lifted guys before, I know how to use my legs and I know how to protect my back. So I felt like massage therapy was a perfect career with what I already know, and all the knowledge I gained from being a dancer. And it's a flexible career. I mean, you could travel, and work, on your own schedule. You could go to people's homes. Of course, you got to be careful. So I'd probably only do it with people that I know and I trust, or have them come to you. Or I feel like a lot of spas, they're more flexible. It's not like a 9 to 5, like 5 days a week. Like you can work a 4-hour shift if you need. So I like that there is flexibility with massage therapy as well. But yeah, that was a great question. But yeah, I graduate in 2 weeks. So
wow.
I'll be embarking on my new journey as a massage therapist. But I'm planning on moving in a few weeks. So I have this like love-hate relationship with both cities, with LA and New York. I lived in both and I love both, but also both are very difficult at the same time. So I'm so on the fence between where should I go, LA or New York? But I know LA is a really great city for music, especially pop music, which is what I primarily do. And also for more commercial dance. So New York is very theater focused, which I love theater too. I wish I could do both. I wish I could live in both cities, but that's
We just need to clone you. That's what we need to do.
There
That's
needs
what
to
we'll
be,
do.
yeah. Maybe one day, maybe if the music really takes off, and that's my main goal. And I feel like LA is a great place to really get my music started. My music producer is there as well, and he is just insane. His name is Chris Rockaway, and he is honestly like Beethoven, of the 2020s. And he's great. And I'm going to be going to LA in probably April 1st. So that's from tomorrow. So I'm going to spend some time in LA. I'm going to record with Chris and just make, just record some like ideas that I have, get some lyrics down, and just try and knock out 2 or 3 more songs. And then from there, I'm planning on going to New York for a visit and kind of testing that out for a week or so. And then I'm going to make my decision. I'm like, okay, am I going to pursue LA or pursue New York? Because I still have dreams to be on Broadway and do a national tour. I have so many dreams. It's crazy.
Dreams are good. Dreams
are good. And that's what keeps me going. That's where I get my motivation.
And we're coming out, slowly, but we're starting to come back from the pandemic, and things are slowly starting to get back on track. So, I mean, now you can take your time to decide which one, and I totally understand where you're coming from when you have so many different interests that you don't know which one to go to, which one you're going to try to. But I do like the fact that you're very resourceful, like in the fact that I had a herniated disc, so I know what that's about. But I didn't become a massage therapist. I was like basically sitting at home going, oh my God, why is my back hurt? Actually, it wasn't even my back. It was a sciatic nerve that was hurting me that real bad. But, I didn't take it to your level where I say, hey, I'm going to become a massage therapist. So you definitely have a mind of, hey, I'm in a bad situation, but I also want to see what I can do to make myself better. So, and if LA doesn't work, New York doesn't work, you set up an office in Chicago or in Kansas and just do massage therapy, right in the middle of everything. So you got it covered.
I love Chicago. I really would love to live here, in the future. It's just right now, it's just all the people, the connections I have. I just don't have a lot of connections in Chicago for my music, but beautiful city, and my family, of course, everybody's here. Course. But massage therapy, I know I've benefited so much from it, and it's helped my body recover quicker when I did have any injuries or issues. And I like to help people as well. Especially if I found something very helpful for myself, I want to make sure I can do the same for others. Because there's just no other better feeling, I feel like, than giving back in some way and just making someone's day a little bit better because they're not in pain anymore. And so, that's another plus. It's just okay, I'm good at it. It's interesting, just learning about the body and how it functions, and then being able to help people.
Yes.
It's just, so I'm really excited to, get started on massage therapy.
Right.
You may have answered this kind of indirectly. Mr. Rockaway, I hope I said that right. Do you plan to be in more ballet productions?
So I would love to continue with ballet. In LA, I worked with Luminario Ballet, which is a professional company over there. And they're planning on doing some touring this year. So if I am in LA, I would hope to continue working with them. And they are just, great company. And it kept me in shape. And I just miss being on stage as well. So I definitely plan on continuing with the ballet productions, hopefully with Luminario Ballet. I also did some guest dancing work as well for the Nutcracker with a studio called Southland Ballet Academy. And they're actually award-winning. They have some of the best ballet students in the world. There's a competition called Youth America Grand Prix. It's, I think, the largest student ballet competition in the world, if not the world, at least in the United States. And Southland always produces just the best, they always have people winning awards from this competition. So they put on a beautiful production of the Nutcracker. And I've played the Nutcracker Prince for their production probably 4 or 5 times now. So that would be another thing that I could continue with when it comes to the ballet productions. So I'm not done yet. I'm still gonna try and continue with that. Just a lot of things to juggle, but hopefully I can fit all of it in.
When you have free time, what do you enjoy doing? It's not one of these things that you've been talking about. Do you have other hobbies, or you just don't have many time?
I mean, I still have time. the thing is, you know, dancing, singing, and all that, like just the artistic stuff, those feel like my hobbies, but I will give you a different answer. So what I like to do in my free time, I love being outside. I love nature. So usually I like to go on walks or I like to go on runs. And I like to, like I mentioned before, there's a forest preserve right by my house here. So I like to just be outside and, you know, get a workout in. I love working out. I actually worked at an F45 gym for the past 6-7 months, uh, just as a fitness instructor over there. So I would say fitness, working out, yoga, love yoga. I go to a place called Tri Balance Yoga over here in a city called Schaumburg, and so that's another hobby I have. I also just like being around my family. I have a niece and nephew. My niece is 2, my nephew's 4, and I just love, you know, being with them and playing with them. I'm gonna see them actually later today, so I guess, you know, just having that family time as well. I'm very close with my family, so, you know, the more I can be with them, the better. But that's usually what I like to do with my free time is it's either family, fitness, nature, or doing some yoga, or just hanging out with my friends, you know, whether that's going to a movie or grabbing a drink or just going to a nice restaurant. I also love watching, you know, live performances, whether that's a concert or a musical or a dance performance. I have a lot of things I like to do in my free time, thinking about it. So, yeah. Hopefully that was, you know, the answer you were looking for.
Well, that kind of sums that up. Yeah. Now, I was going to follow up on something else. Would you consider other cities besides New York and LA, or is it those focus on some of what you want to do? So that's kind of why you're leaning toward there.
So I'm only seriously considering both cities because of what my goals are and what I want to pursue. You know, I want to pursue theater, Broadway, TV and film, and my music. And Nashville, great for music, but it's still more like country music, and I don't really do country. So it just wouldn't make sense for me. And because I am a dancer and I want, you know, for future music videos, I want to have dancers with me, like backup dancers. Um, and New York and LA have the best commercial dancers in the country. So, I mean, it wouldn't make sense for me to really want to be in another city. Of course, there are a lot of cities I love and love to visit. But when it comes to living there, you know, the market for what I'm trying to do is LA, New York. I think London is very interesting as well. Again, I've never been there. I don't know if I mentioned that before we were chatting, before we were going live. But yeah, I've never been to London before, and that is a place I would love to visit. And maybe one day live there. I don't know. Maybe if I make it big, I can, you know, get a place over there, and I'd love to perform and just explore because there's so much to see and do in London as well. And they have a lot of dancers. They have the West End there, so that'd be another perfect city. So I'd say if it's not LA, if it's not New York, then it would be London.
And that's close to a lot of things over there. So
oh yeah.
So that's the other thing.
Yeah.
Everything. So I was going to ask you something, and I just basically put you on the spot. So here's the spot. Ready?
Okay.
If you were given just one thing you could exceed in, which is either dancing, your music, or so forth, and I'm just saying it's the one thing you can do. There's no what would you select?
My music, hands down, because with music, I can create my own vision. I mean, with music, I can write the lyrics, I can create the song, the music, and I can still dance on stage while I'm performing my concert in my set. So that would just be the best of, you know, everything. Usually as a dancer, you're really just being told what to do. You're, you know, the choreographer will tell you the steps and then you do it. And you're not really putting together a show that's your vision. All the time you're trying to bring someone else's vision to life. But with music, I'm in the driver's seat, and I can do everything. I can sing, I can dance, I can talk to the audience, and I can, crack some jokes. I can show off my personality. I can be me. And that's why that is such an easy answer for me. Because I can do everything that I want to do, and I can travel the
That's
world.
true. And travel too. Yeah, I mean, I can see how that personifies everything you need to do. I just want to bring up that the fact we had the social media links for him earlier. If you
they're
haven't,
coming back up.
okay, if you haven't seen his Instagram, if you haven't seen his TikTok, if you haven't seen his YouTube, you all need to check him out. If you don't know what he's talking about his music, because it's just amazing. We were talking behind stage in the green room about his latest one, Dreaming Loud, and how even the technical production was done so well. And he choreographed pretty much everything that you see there, but there's just some very nice subtle editing things that were done. And it's just impressive to see somebody that's starting and trying to, break into the business. And there's just so much talent in these videos. I personally also like I Smell Success, and it's just interesting to me how you come up with these ideas, because I could immediately tell what you were talking about on Dreaming Loud, but also on I Smell Success. I thought it was just amazing how you were able. It's one thing to write and compose and do music and just do it, versus having a message that you're trying to convey musically. And and music is one of the universal languages that we have. And I was watching your I Smell Success. I was telling you, instantly got what you were talking about, along with the visuals, along with the music, which is very catchy. But it was amazing how you were able to connect with someone, just by your lyrics and so forth. So it's not like you're just writing lyrics just for fun and just slapping them on a page and just performing in front of a camera. It is obvious that you take a deep, profound interest in what you're doing and trying to produce the best product out there.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like growing up in musical theater has helped me be able to act out the lyrics that I have and project that, whether that's on stage, but in this case, it would be on film. For I Smell Success, I actually didn't write those lyrics.
Really?
Yeah, so I worked with the producers of Wiidope. They have created music for artists like Todrick Hall, who is a friend of mine and probably the most talented human being that I know. He was on American Idol, and he has his own music career, obviously, going on. And he's been on, I think he's in like 5 or 6 Broadway shows. And he's just incredible. But yeah, for I Smell Success, I did not write those lyrics, though I did tell them kind of that was the first song I've ever recorded. So I didn't want to mess it up, because you want to have a good first impression when you put a song out there. So I wanted to make sure I had, professionals that knew what they were doing and they knew how to bring my vision to life. And they really delivered. And I love the song so much. It's such a bop. And I mean, everyone that I've talked to that has listened to the song, they just tell me how fun it is and how much they love listening to it. But when it came to the music video, yeah, that was all me. I just didn't write the lyrics. I didn't compose it. But I had the full visual control when it came to the music video, choreography, locations. Kind of like every scene that I filmed, I was filming in a mansion in Korea. And that was, I mean, I looked like I was cooler than I really am. I thought it was funny. Some people were like, well, if you're like in a mansion, then why are you driving a Nissan Sentra? Because you see my car a little bit in the video, but I wanted to be ironic because again, it's like, I smell success up in the air. So it's not like I am successful. It's all like a dream still and a goal to achieve. So it's still me having this dream, but still showing that it's not real because I'm still driving my beat up 2006 Nissan Sentra.
And
So
it's funny you brought that up because that was the first thing I said. Oh, look, he's in a mansion. Oh, look, he's doing all this nice jet setting stuff. Then I see the car and I see the Nissan on it. I went, oh, okay, I get it.
yeah, I just like to add a little bit of a personality in there and just kind of have fun with it. I mean, my hope was that people would kind of get it, and at least you did. So I do appreciate that. And I thought it was funny because I think maybe 2 weeks before I shot that video, I was on the highway and some guy was in his truck and he had like an attachment to the back of his truck, like some kind of wagon. I don't know. But I was just in my lane, minding my own business. And then he starts merging into my lane and I'm honking my horn and he just keeps going. And then he crashes into the side of my car. So I think you can see in the video that like it's totally busted on the right side of the car. I think we do have a shot of that and you can just see like it looks like crap. But again, it's where it's like it's funny because I'm literally filming in a mansion, acting like I own this place, and I'm like so successful and all that. But realistically, I still have that beat up car. So and I want to add more comedy for future videos because there's only one song I did not write, and that was "I Smell Success," but I have 5 other songs, 6. I'm still making more music, like all the time. But I have 5 other songs that I recorded and they're all finished. And I wrote all of those. So I'm excited to, put those out there and just kind of show kind of more who I am through my music because it's all very personal. It's all very deep, everything I talk about. But I still try to make them fun and catchy at the same time. I'm still trying to explore and try new things and make sure that I don't have the same sound every single time I have a new song out there, because I want to keep it interesting and I like so many different styles of music, so I don't want to be stuck in a box. I want to explore. I have a song that I'm rapping in too. It's like, what? So I'm like rapping in another song that will be my next song. That's more like alternative rock. So definitely different than what you've already heard. And then I have a ballad that I'm going to be releasing in a few months as well. So just all different stuff. But yeah, one of my favorite things is being able to create the vision and the visual for the music video. And I'm excited, to create the next one. Once I get to LA or New York, wherever I'm going to be, once I'm there, I'm going to start getting ready to film my next video and have that released. So I'm really excited for that. And hopefully I'll find some dancers and kind of bring that to life. I love dance. Obviously, I am a dancer and I love to just incorporate movement. I feel like that helps bring a video to life as well. And it just adds another element of art and creativity. And it's kind of, I guess, another extension of emoting and kind of just projecting that and trying to get that to come through to your audience. So yeah, I mean, I have a lot of my musical inspirations. Lady Gaga is one of them. I think she's awesome. And she's just such a great, talented musician, singer. She can dance. Justin Timberlake as well. Pink is amazing. Because there was one video that even when she does her concert, she's like, doing aerial work. Like, I don't know if you've seen any of her videos or concerts, but she's literally like swinging across a stadium, just doing like circus work, like with aerial straps. And she is actually an amazing dancer, like contemporary dance. And I want to do things like that. I want to be in a harness and I want to float across the stage, and I just want to do crazy things and I don't want to be predictable. And you know, I've seen so many concerts where I'm like, this is so boring. Like the music's all right, but you're just standing there and you're doing nothing. You're not even really talking to your audience. So I saw a concert back in October. I mean, I'm not gonna like name like the band or anything, but it was just like I was kind of disappointed. But I also was like, this is kind of motivating for me because I see kind of a gap of where maybe something might be missing. Um, and you know, I want to be like, you know, I could make this really exciting for myself. But you know, not everybody needs a big production. So that's why music and art is great because nothing is wrong and there's always something for a specific audience and what they connect with and what they love to see or hear. So I know not everybody's going to love what I do, and that's okay because I just want people that can connect with what I'm doing to be in the audience and you know have their support. But yeah, I am all about the entertainment factor. So that's definitely where you know, those few artists, that's definitely where I'm kind of grabbing my inspiration from.
Well,
So
you're definitely
yeah,
personable.
yeah, well, thanks. I mean, I like talking to people and I like getting to know them and I get my energy from just other people and people are very
And I
interesting.
mean, you answered my other question is who were your inspirations for your music or your dance, and you already went into that. You're definitely, I think where you're going with is, I'm just saying, it's probably an old coin phrase. You're not a one-trick pony. You're definitely not a one-trick pony. You're definitely somebody that's looking to see, different things. I can see it between just the two videos you released that you're
Mhm.
trying to go for different flavors and different ideas, and you're trying to keep the fans and the people that are watching, um, just kind of keep them guessing as to what you're up to and what you're trying to do. I mean, and the other thing is, I just hope as you get better and as you progress and grow, keep the interaction that you do on with your videos and people commenting, and how you go and make the time to comment to the people that are commenting your videos.
Mhm.
Keep doing that. That's really important for the people to connect with somebody. So once you you win the 35 million Grammys and you're already touring all over the world and everything, just remember to keep in touch with your fans, because they really obviously support you from what I see, and you seem like the guy that you would. So,
Yeah.
and I think that's what's so, I guess, engaging about you, is that you do take the time, considering how busy you are and everything that you're doing, to go back and talk to the people, and that's a really cool thing. Michael, I'm taking over, so you go
I know
ahead.
you are, but I just want to say we do have some viewers on X, and sadly, X does not allow us to read any comments you may post.
Mm.
So if you do want to get a question in before we have to go, switch over, just go to http://ndbmedia.net, go into the lower left of the screen, and either click YouTube or Facebook and click the link um, for his video then. And I said, if you want to make a comment, if you don't want to ask him a question, that's fine. But if you do, X does not work, sadly. I wish they would get that fixed, but they haven't yet. Arc 54 has got a question. Speaking of dance moves and emotions, the dance you did to Billie Eilish's "When the Party's Over" is extremely beautiful and very full of emotions. And I felt so much watching you. Once again, beautiful work.
Well, I really appreciate that comment. Thank you, Arc 54. Um, yeah, I was having a really bad day when I filmed that. It's also such a beautiful song, even just listening to it. Sometimes I mean, I'm pretty emotional. So if I'm really in the feels and I hear that song, like I'm like just streaming down like a river with tears. But yeah, yeah, I just was expressing from my heart and how I was feeling, and I needed to get it out. Like, you know, like when you feel upset, when something's bothering you, a lot of the time you like keep it in, but it always feels better when you can just let it out. And that's why I love art and dance and music so much, because that is an outlet for me to put those emotions out there and get it out of my system and just express how I feel. So yeah, that was a really special dance video that I made, just because it wasn't trying to be about showing off or anything like that. It wasn't about entertainment. It was really just about raw emotions. And technically it was not like my best work. I mean, I was just moving and just having the music guide me through it. So yeah, so thank you for that comment. I really appreciate it.
Well, you're definitely very an emotional kind of individual, and it shows not only in what you're talking about here with us, but in your music and what you do. Again, I can't stress enough. You all need to follow. You need to subscribe to everything he's got out there so you can keep up with everything he's doing. I, believe it or not, subscribe to your YouTube. So because I do want to see what's next. You hooked me on the Dreaming Loud. And just the whole visual of that. Not only that, I mean, it's just the way you captured that visualization of that song. I mean, that was the most. I mean, don't get me wrong, the music is great, the dancing is great. I told you that on the green room, but just the way it was just done, I thought it was really, professionally done with a professional team. You're spending millions of dollars, to do all that, and I'm finding out that you're doing whatever you can with what little you got to produce these kind of videos. So I still can't get over what you did to the cake.
I say that's all you care about, Jag, is the cake.
cake was
I
awesome.
know.
But that was probably the best part of it, because once it was all destroyed, camera was off, and I swear I just grabbed it with my hand. I was like, actually, it wasn't as easy as you would think, because I don't know if you can tell, but in the video I'm handcuffed. So it's like, okay, I have all this cake in front of me, and I'm literally like locked with my wrists together. So I'm just like, how am I gonna do this? So I just, I was a mess. There was cake all over my face. But since there were a few scenes, I did change my clothes, a few times. So I just went crazy. I went all in. I didn't care. I just wiped it off of my clothes, and I changed. And then I got my fix. I was hungry, and I ate my food, and I was happy, because who doesn't love cake? And yeah, so that was one of the benefits of having that type of prop, I guess.
I'm going to get geeky really quick. I meant to ask you, I need to ask you this. How long does it take to do a music video like that?
So this one, it didn't take too long. I remember correctly, I started at about 3 p.m, and we wrapped up around like 8 or 9. So I would say typically, of course, it always depends how many locations you have and, what your ideas are. But for that video, that one took about 5-ish, 6-ish hours. Just because it was, the videographer, Jack Pochop, I think I'm pronouncing it correctly. Pochop, really talented videographer. So he created the video, and he needed his time too, to like just kind of adjust equipment and change the lenses and all of that. So, that of course takes some time as well. And then just setting up, like getting everything on the table with the cake and like the hat and the clothes, and also setting everything up. That's part of the video, is getting, I had to bring a suitcase with all the props that I had, and then I had to change and just keep everything organized, make sure I had like the piñata all ready to go, so we're not wasting time. So, it's a lot. Sometimes a video will look like it only takes a couple hours, but with everything that, you have to just prepare for and get set, and just everything you have to do in between takes, that stuff takes time. But I would say, I smell success. I think that video was about like an 8 to 10 hour shoot, mostly because I had 3 different locations. We filmed in the garage of my apartment that I was living in. So that was one location. Then we went over to across the street. There was a hiking trail, and that's where we filmed more of the dance stuff there. And then from there, we went to Koreatown to film in the mansion. And we were there for like 2 or 3 hours. And then after there, we went to another location where they had all these LED lights to the video. And then they also had in the same building, just in a different room, they had like this shower, but like a big shower where this is like a rain, like at that rain effect. So that there's a lot more that kind of like went into that video. So that was, about 10 hours. But that was so much fun. And actually, so one of the dancers I worked on Paramour when I lived in Germany. She was one of my backup dancers for that video. Her name is Jessica. And she just came to LA to visit. And it was just perfect timing because I was planning on making my music video, and then she comes in town, and I'm like, oh, well, I'm making this video, like just be a part of it. So it was amazing that she could be involved in that project. Also, the videographer for that video, his name is Alex Lea, and I actually danced with him in high school. He's from this area, the Chicago suburbs. So it was cool that I was able to. He was on the Orchesis dance team in Rolling Meadows for Rolling Meadows High School, which is part of the same District 214 high schools where I grew up dancing. So it was cool that we danced here in Illinois, and then we both were working on this music video together in LA. So it was kind of like a full circle moment.
Or a small world kind of thing.
It really was. It was awesome how we started kind of dancing together, and then years later, after all this stuff has happened, and he's very successful with his videography, how we're working together as professionals, years later, which was just incredible. But yeah, it's been just amazing. It's been such a ride. So I'm really excited to just make more content, more videos. Again, that's one of my favorite things to do, and just be creative. I love to think, and I love to get ideas out there. So,
I have to ask one question before we go.
Okay.
10 years ago. Okay, think back 10 years ago. You might not want to, but were you in So You Think You Can Dance?
So I auditioned for the show. I made it to there was it was always it was Vegas week that they always did, but that one year it was Hollywood week. So they had it in LA. So that was basically they go to 5 different cities, and I auditioned in where did I audition? I auditioned in LA. And did I? I think
Pasadena, maybe?
It's so long ago, I can't remember where I auditioned. I think I auditioned in New York, actually. And I went through 5 rounds. I think that first round, you're with the producer. Not there's a panel of people, maybe.
Right.
And then you dance for 20 seconds for them. And then from there, they decide who they want to go to the next round. And then after that, they have people on stage, I think 10 at a time. And again, but this time you're on a stage, in a theater, and they have you improvise for 20 seconds. And then after that second round, they make more cuts. They'll line you up in a line. And I remember when I did it, there were 10 people, they all lined us up, and they only chose me. And I'm like, what?
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So made it to another round. And then from that point, that's when they wanted to see you do your choreography. So you show up and you do about a 2-minute solo in front of the judges. So I was able to, perform in front of them. And some of what some of those commercials, you could kind of see, clips of me doing a backflip and stuff in some turns, which was awesome. But yeah, from there, they told me, you're going to Hollywood. And I was like, what? Because I saw this on TV growing up, and I always wanted to have that ticket to go to Hollywood. So then about like 3 weeks later, they flew me out to LA, and then we went through more rounds where we learned choreography. But that first round there, they wanted to see solos again, and I got through that round. So at this point, I'm like 4 rounds in, and I think there were about 100 of us left out of like 3,000.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was just insane. But then we did like a hip hop combo, which was the first one. And at that point, I was literally dancing at the Joffrey Ballet Academy in Chicago. So I was like a ballet dancer. And I didn't really have a lot of hip hop training. So unfortunately, that's where my time got cut short, just because they're like, "Oh, you're not really like feeling the hip hop too much." So they're like, "All right, that's the end for you." But you know what? Like, I got so far, like out of like 3,000.
Oh, you got to think of the positive, because I mean, I remember some of the shows I saw before they didn't show some of the stuff when, I think it was American Idol, that they had big rooms of people that they dismissed everybody in the room back. They don't do that anymore. But
Yeah.
I mean, I just went, oh, how humiliating. You think, oh, and then they dismiss everybody in the room. And I just went, oh, that's just, that would be, that would kill me. That would kill me if I was on thinking I could do, and then gone.
Yes. If you feel like you did a good job and then they're like, "That's crap. Like, what are you doing here? Like, get out." They were very nice though. They were like, "That was hard to watch." I'm like, it wasn't that hard to watch, but it's TV and they like to be so dramatic, and
Oh, they do. Yeah.
they have
They
big
do.
egos, and I'm just like, okay, forget you. Like, you don't have to be rude about it. But that's just how people are, when they're told that they're great and they have all this power, they're gonna be a little arrogant. And they're not really putting your own emotions and how that affects you into consideration.
No, and it does affect. I mean, we've had a lot of people from, we've been having a lot of people from The Voice recently, and they've all been wonderful. But I mean, I can tell they have to do a lot of work to get on the show. I mean, they really do. They really do. And I mean, I have loved all of our guests that we've had in the last couple of weeks. And we've had 2 from the new season, so
Nice.
The Voice. So I mean, that's been wonderful, and hopefully we're going to get a few more in the next couple of weeks. But it's hard, and I really don't think a lot of people realize how hard it is to do one of those shows.
No.
All the extra training you have to do.
Also very long days.
Yes, very long days. And I mean, I had one guest, I won't say who it was, but I had asked them to be on the show, and they didn't have time because they were practicing for the lives.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't have time, and they ended up coming, after the lives were over. And I did appreciate that, but they apologized. They said, "I'm sorry, we're too busy. We could not do it." And I went, I figured that, but I wanted to try, so, but.
Well, maybe once they're done with the season.
Well, no, I'm getting them while they're in the middle of it. So I'm happy. I'm happy. Yeah. I'm so, and when it's over with, then I'll put some more of them on, but it's very, it's a very rough business. I mean, music is not easy. So, my hat goes out to you, because it's rough. And I mean, but you seem to be starting and doing it right. You're building up a following and putting out what you enjoy, and that's the way to do it.
As long as you love what you're doing, that's what's going to keep you going for the long run. It's not about trying to, get the fame or recognition or the money. You got to you have to lead from your heart, and that's how you will continue to keep going, for a long extended period of time. So, that's why I'm not giving up, and I'm really excited for just how things will unravel in the future. And I'm just stoked about, what's going to happen for the rest of this year. I have a lot of goals, and hopefully it'll just continue to get better and better, and I'll grow that fan base, and then I'll be traveling the world and
There you go.
connect with all my fans. So it'll be amazing.
Well, given what you've shown so far, I don't see any issues with that. I think you will be successful. And like I said, I subscribe to you, so I'll hopefully be able to watch your video and then send you a little comment. Oh, I liked the way you did that. Oh, I liked the way you did that. So
Yeah,
just
love
don't
the
destroy,
comments.
just don't destroy no more cakes. That's all I'm going to ask.
Promise that they're too delicious. So
Yeah. And
Yeah.
we have ARC54 saying thank you very much for taking time. Again, from me, I want to thank you also for taking time. I know it's a Sunday. We also did the change. Does Chicago do the time change? I can't remember.
Yep, we do. So
So
a little bit more sunshine, tonight, so it'll be good. So,
we appreciate your time, and we look forward to all the other stuff that you're going to be bringing us in the next couple of weeks, months, and so forth. And it's almost kind of like a little nail biter to decide which way you're going to go, New York or LA. So we'll see how that goes and how that works out.
yeah, just follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and all that, and I'll keep you all updated. But yeah, it is
And if
definitely.
you'd like to come back when you release your new one, you're more than welcome, Will.
All right, I appreciate that. Thank you, Michael,
Mhm.
and thank you, Jag. I really appreciate
No problem. No, I
Yeah.
had a good time. Like I said, I watched your videos and became an overnight fan, and I was like, I have to ask him these questions, and I have to ask because I was excited to be able to come here. And I thank Michael for giving me the opportunity.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had a blast just chatting with you guys. It's been a lot of fun, and actually, a lot of these questions I haven't really thought too deeply about. So it's like, oh, I'm starting to understand a little bit of, what I'm going for here. So
Well, that's good. Yeah, that'll just
That's
get you going,
yeah,
and you won't be surprised at other questions other people ask you. Maybe.
no, and I love the questions. There were some really good questions here, so I loved answering those.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to thank everyone for coming out today. It is early and Sunday, not our normal time. Well, it's normal time for our Sunday morning talk show, which they cut short for us, and I do appreciate that. So thank you, Waffle, for letting us have some of your time this morning. We greatly appreciate it. And I would like to tell everyone, please look at our webpage because we've got some more. I just haven't got the times confirmed yet, but we do have a couple more guests from The Voice coming on. But as I said, I don't want to say the names in case we can't schedule a convenient time for everybody. So thank you for coming, and we'll see you all next time. Take care.
All right, see you. Take care, you guys. Thanks.